Good day, my fellow entrepreneurs, and you're welcome to yet another exciting episode of The Entrepreneur with IBM Bangis. I am IBM Bangis, and I remain your host for the show. Now, in this episode of The Entrepreneur, we'll be discussing one of the most misunderstood concepts for people who are trying to succeed out there, and that's the separation between talent and skills. Now, talent you have naturally, but skills is something you develop after hours and hours and hours of beating on your craft. Now, here's the catch. Skills beat talent when talent is not skillful. So that means no matter how talented you are at something, at an art, at a business, at anything out there, you need to develop on that skill. You need to improve yourself. You need to study that particular skills to make yourself better. And the benchmark to being skillful is 5,000 hours. We believe that in business or anything out there, once you can spend 5,000 hours on anything you want to do, be it business, be it sports, be it whatever it is, if you can spend 5,000 hours doing that thing, you will be considered as a skillful person. Now, we're going to take a short break, but after the break, I'll be introducing a guest, someone who I see, someone who is talented at so many things and also skillful at a lot of things. But stay tuned after the break. So you're welcome back to the show. And just before the break, we were discussing one of the most misunderstood concepts for people who are trying to succeed out there. And I said it's the separation between talent and skills. Now, talent is something you have naturally, but skills is something you develop after hours and hours and hours of beating on your craft. And I mentioned that we do have someone in the studio here with me today, someone who is talented and also skillful at a lot of things. He is a CEO of Detail Master. He's a fashion designer. King Fahad, you're welcome to the studio and you're welcome to the Entrepreneur with IBM Bangis. Now, King Fahad, can you just tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Okay, you already said my name. My name is King Fahad Subai.
Okay,
I'm a fashion designer.
okay,
Yeah, I got established 2019.
okay,
I was when I officially kickstarted my brand.
okay,
Yeah, and I also learned the trade of tailoring.
okay,
A tailor as well. Yeah, I do patterns, I make designs and all that. And I work for a few brands. I might
of
not like to
course,
call their name now,
of
but I
course.
work for brands as well. I
Yeah.
cut, I make patterns for them.
Mhm,
Yeah, I'm a graduate.
mm,
I graduated from Federal University of Technology in Mina,
mm,
2015.
mm,
I studied mathematics.
mm.
Yeah, pure and applied mathematics to be
Wow,
specific. Yeah,
wow.
I'm a mathematician
Okay,
and
so,
I applied geometry by design as well, and that's
wow,
what makes me stand out.
of
Yeah,
course,
apply a
definitely,
lot of
definitely,
geometry in what I do. Yeah,
definitely.
so
Okay,
that's it.
okay, so like if I want to ask you,
Okay,
what's a mathematician doing
okay.
in the fashion industry? Now, what made you choose fashion in the first place?
Well, I love fashion.
Mm,
That's something even back then in school, everyone in my department knew
mm,
that. Like, yeah, I was a fashion guy.
okay.
I got nominated, I won awards and all that, yeah, for fashion. So it was just like it's a thing in me. I
Mhm.
just love to look good. I
Okay,
love to make that statement.
okay.
Like, oh yeah, he looks good, and not doing it for anyone else but for myself. I
Mm-hmm.
just like to look good when I'm in public and even in private. Like
Okay.
on my own, I test a lot of clothes that I can't even put it outside. But when I'm alone on my own, I'm just like, oh wow, this looks good, and
Of course.
yeah, I put it on. So I have a personal love for fashion. That's
Okay.
it.
Okay. And if you look at it actually, it's nowadays like it's more like just every single thing right now is about making the right fashion statement.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So how important is making the right fashion statement at events or places if you go to?
Well, let me start by saying people address you with how you dress. We know that's
Mm,
popular term, and that's 100% true and correct.
mm,
There are days I look casual, very plain, and go to somewhere, and I won't really be noticed or not. And there are days I look extraordinary, the whole kaftan, my cap, everything, and all that, and I notice how people perceive me differently. So when in certain occasions, on certain times, I like to make that statement for what I am going to do because I understand fully well that people actually address you. Like there's certain charisma and respect people just give who looks good. Like and fashion statement isn't just necessarily about you what you wear, what you're wearing at the moment, not just about your it's also accessories are involved. Your perfume is also a statement.
wow.
Yeah, your wristwatch, everything it entails. It's not
Mm,
just about your top and your trouser or whatever, but how you look overall, like what how you stand out, what differentiates and all that is your statement. So it's not best to look that way and act it.
Oh,
That's it.
okay, well then talking about fashion statement, I'm
Yeah.
tempted to ask you, are you wearing one of your styles?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I
that's
know
good.
what I'm wearing.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. Okay, so like, can you help us just define the term dress code? Because
Dress
if you look
code.
at it out
Okay.
there, like when you're going for events, people tell you, okay, this is the dress code for this event, or
Okay.
this is what you have to wear. Now,
Mm-hmm.
at what point is somebody underdressed or overdressed for an occasion?
Okay. First of all, dress code is just the manner at which you are dressed, like how you combine what you wear for a specific reason or a specific occasion. You understand? Like the code, like a uniform for school students, it is their dress code. You
Okay,
get
of course,
suits and looking corporate basically for bankers and looking corporate is their dress
that's their
code.
dress code.
Yeah, so dress
Okay,
code is just how you combine what you wear and
okay,
the occasion, like where you wear it and all that.
okay,
That's what dress code means.
okay.
And what's the next question you have?
Okay. No, I just asked you at what point is somebody over or underdressed for the
Okay.
occasion or
And
for
well,
an
yeah,
occasion.
it's true. It's possible to be overdressed and it's
Okay.
possible to be underdressed for an occasion.
Okay.
Like when you're attending something very casual, like
Mm.
okay, I want to go to the bank
Yeah.
to deposit. You can't just say like you put on agbada or something. If you're wearing dress that way, like yeah, you could be dressed that way for work and yeah, you're going there, it's fine. But you can't
Exactly.
just say you're going for something very casual and you look so you understand, like yeah,
Definitely.
like I'm
Yeah.
going to see my friend and I'm wearing agbada, wearing suit and tie and stuff, especially when the weather is hot and all that. It
Of
makes
course.
absolutely no sense.
Of
So
course.
yeah, that's being overdressed. And underdressed too, when you're going for an interview, for instance, maybe they don't specify that.
Yeah.
Okay, put on suit and tie, whatever. You
Mm.
can't just wear a jersey top and a plain trouser and stuff.
Mm.
That's underdressed, and that's
Okay.
totally even prohibited. So most times, functions actually give dress code that you should put on most of like 90% of the time. So let's say
Okay.
the 10% of the time they don't give dress codes. You just
Okay.
use your own instinct to put on something that will fit in like
Okay.
perfectly well. Yeah,
Okay. Okay, so
that's
well,
it.
actually, I'm not an expert in the fashion
Okay.
industry, but then if I'm going to ask you, am I
Yeah.
overdressed for this occasion?
No, you're perfectly dressed. Like
Okay,
perfectly dressed for it.
okay, all right.
Yes,
Thank
bro.
you for that,
Yeah,
Mr. King
welcome.
Fahad.
Yeah.
Now, we have a lot of viewers back home, who will want to get involved in the fashion industry.
Okay.
Now, most of them will be wondering now, how much work is involved for someone to become a successful fashion designer? Is
Okay.
this something you have to do always, or is this something you should just like you can just do on your own part time? Now,
Yeah.
even at the beginning of the show, I mentioned that if you want to succeed at anything out there, you need to spend 5,000 hours
Yeah,
doing that
exactly.
thing. Does it apply to fashion also?
Yeah, sure. Sure, you even need more than that. That
Okay.
is sincerely because you can't just say, okay, that I've worked 5,000 hours. This
Mm,
does now makes me a certified hand worker. I'm
mm,
not even generalizing right now, not just even about tailoring, but tailoring to be specific because that's my field.
mm.
I believe, yeah, 5,000 is okay for you to be familiar with certain things, how to
Okay.
draft a pattern, how to cut those patterns, how to sew, how to do.
Mm.
Yeah, 5,000 is not good enough for you to understand that, but it's definitely not enough for you to be like a professional to
Okay.
get everything
Okay.
perfectly well.
Okay.
Like, yeah, you
Okay.
need way more than that
Okay.
to actually just
For you to
take
become
it.
very
Yeah,
good, right?
exactly. To be very familiar with it. Because
Oh,
I say I work every day.
okay.
Yeah, every day. Sometimes day and night, depending
Wow.
on the. So yeah, so that makes you more familiar, and you notice that's the benefit of handwork. You
Okay.
watch yourself improve.
Mm.
Like how I was 2 years ago, a year ago, is definitely not how I am now.
Exactly.
I am like I know the improvement. I know where I've improved. And this is that seemed very difficult then. It
Exactly.
now seems fun. I ask myself sometimes like, oh wow, don't be using the wasn't this what was very difficult for me and
But then now it's
right now
easy,
I'm
right?
just flowing it is and that's because of the constant practice. So
Of
it's not a
course.
part-time thing.
Okay.
Because there are times you could even leave for a week and you get back and it feels like, oh wow, is this what you are flowing with that
Exactly.
is now seeming difficult? So it's better to not even give it space, to just keep doing it every day, every day, every day till you've gotten to the pinnacle. Well, is there not
Exactly.
really a pinnacle? You've gotten to the point where yeah, I'm comfortable that even in my sleep, you can just wake me up and I'll do this
And then you just do it.
fluently and yeah,
Wow,
execute it
perfect.
perfectly well. So
Okay.
I'm still on my way to the top. You understand? It's not like yeah, I'm deaf and all that, but
But then you're getting
yeah,
there.
you know, I'm getting it right and I feel it, and I know by the special grace of God, yeah, that I would also be perfect as well.
Definitely. Okay,
Yeah.
then looking at how successful you've become now, how does it
Okay.
make you feel to move around the heart of Nigeria, Abuja, and see people wearing your style now? How does it make
Well,
you feel?
that's a feeling that that is equivalent to the joy of even getting money.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Well,
know how good
how good
how
it
good
is
it
when you
feels
get
like yeah when
money,
you
yeah?
get paid like get out. That's exactly. It could even feel better some days because
Okay.
sometimes you come to a certain prestige
Mm,
that oh wow this person is wearing my stuff, and when that
mm.
person now gets compliments like almost like a lot of people like this, a lot of people wow, like it's just it's a feeling that you have to do it to know how it feels,
Of
man.
course,
Yeah, that
definitely.
I just use the whole money to just make it equivalent to just tell you how
Okay.
it
All
could
right.
feel, but it's a very wonderful feeling, man. It gives a feeling of fulfillment.
Of course,
You understand?
definitely.
There are days where there might not be money, but when you see people wearing your product and stuff, you just still feel fulfilled, like, oh wow, I have so much
Exactly.
money and it feels good. It feels great,
Exactly.
sincerely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's good. Well, actually, Mr. Fahad, I
Yeah.
like your style,
Thank you
and I
very much.
feel you incorporate the local fashion industry with
Yeah,
that
you
of the
love that.
outside world.
Yeah.
Well, like when you're designing your own
Yeah,
clothes, right?
sure. You
Okay.
love.
So I have to ask you now, how do you come up with your own personal style now? Is this something that you look on, maybe you see it on TV and then you decide to envisage that same thing, or no, is it that you just thought about it or something like that? How does it work for you?
Okay, that's where the grades are different from the let me say
The normal
mediocre. Yeah,
people,
you understand? Like,
exactly.
yeah, it's an inborn thing, style. That's
Okay,
what I got to understand.
okay,
It's either you have it or you don't. You
okay.
might be good.
Mm,
Like there are a lot of people who know how to sew, who know how to
exactly,
cut, who know how to do things, but the style is not there.
exactly.
And if it's not there, well, all I can say is
Well,
it
then there's
takes the
nothing you
grace
can
of
do,
God
right?
to put in the style, but the style is an inborn thing.
Of course.
It's either you have it or you don't. Yeah.
Okay,
So when you now have it, you will now know how to use it.
exactly.
Like yeah, you can see a lot of things. Like there are times I could just see a packet shirt with a zip on the pocket, and I'll
And
be
then you
like,
just
oh
be like,
wow, this would definitely be good on the kaftan.
okay,
People, other people around me have that same eye. They are even seeing that. They might even see things better than what I'm saying. But like I said, if it's not there, it's not there.
of
You
course,
might
there's
not really
nothing
know how
you
to
can.
combine. And the fact you see the certain way on the t-shirt, it could be
Exactly,
horizontal on the t-shirt, and in your own design the kaftan, you have to make it vertical.
exactly.
Sometimes you could cross it horizontal and vertical together, depending on how you can do it and the
Okay,
place you can how you mix the thoughts.
definitely.
So it's not an inborn thing, but
Of course,
it can be developed. Like
of
yeah,
course.
it can be developed. That's the honest truth of it.
Okay,
If you
okay,
put your mind to it, you definitely develop it.
okay.
And that's that.
Okay, well, a lot of people, let me say everyone,
Yeah,
wears clothes every single day.
yeah,
So
sure.
I will assume there's a lot of work ethic, or let me say there's a lot of work for you guys.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
and there's also disappointment at the part of tailors or at the part of fashion designers. You know,
Yeah,
you
we
give
get
them
that
your
a lot.
clothes and they end up disappointing you.
Yeah.
So, how do you handle the pressure from arrogant people, or when you disappoint people, how do you handle that pressure of having so much work that you need to give out within a short time
Short
frame,
time. Okay,
especially
well,
during festive period and all?
to God be the glory. I haven't really disappointed anyone,
Well, that's
but I'm
good.
not perfect. Let's just say,
Exactly.
for instance, if I've made all in all 200 clothes to get,
Mm.
at least I have pulled through 195 times. Like all
Wow.
things being equal, like yeah,
Wow.
the few people I've had issues with, it's basically because of let's say timing.
Okay.
Like you said, yeah, it's natural, it's inevitable. Sometimes the
Mm.
work gets broke up that yeah, I like to do it myself. I
Mm.
don't like to because the few times among the 5 times I've disappointed, two of the times and times I won't outsource. You
Okay.
understand?
You give it to somebody else.
Exactly. Someone and the person disappoints and I can't tell
It
the
looked
customer
as
that
if,
it's who I
and
give. It's me,
exactly.
it's my brand, you understand? So I'll
Exactly.
take the whole blame to myself.
Okay.
So in that instance,
Mm.
what happened?
Mm.
I do not like the idea of a refund.
Okay.
I don't mind even
You
using my
don't,
money to make my customer happy. Like that's the major priority.
of course.
Customer satisfaction
Of
to me
course.
is more important than even almost as important as the money because you do not know who you delivered for would need. And
Exactly.
that person could be a way bigger person. This person he
Exactly.
might just give you maybe 10,000 naira. But the person he might be willing to even pay way higher and all that. So it's
Exactly.
important to always satisfy every customer. There's no customer that is too important. There's one that is less important. All customers are
Are
important.
important,
Yeah,
right? Of
that's
course.
just it.
Of course.
So yeah, but there are times when it gets too much, and I know that not that I have to outsource. I will still outsource, but I'm very careful now who I outsource to. Like
Okay.
yeah, I'm very even if a lot of times good tailors are always busy.
Mm.
If you're good, not just tailor handwork, if you're good, you naturally be busy.
Of course.
So I guess that's just my secret on how I still make ends meet.
Mm.
You
Exactly.
understand? But
Exactly.
I thank God I deliver like 95% of the time.
Okay. Well, thank
Yeah.
you, Mr. King Fahad. We're going to
You're
take a
welcome.
break now. Don't forget, you're watching The Entrepreneur with IBM Bangis. Stay tuned after the break. And you're welcome back from the break. And just before the break, we were discussing fashion with Mr. King Fahad, the CEO and founder of Details Master. Now, Mr. Fahad, just before the break, now we were discussing, and then you made mention that you outsource
Yeah,
some of
sure.
your work to some
Yeah,
particular tailors, right?
sure.
So, do you always outsource, or do you make them yourselves, or is it that you make some and you outsource some? How is it for you?
When the work isn't much, I definitely do that myself. I like to even work. Even the ones I outsourced
Mm,
lately, after I got disappointed by
mm,
the things I outsourced to, I usually do the cutting or pass on drafting and all that, and just probably give them to sew.
exactly.
Because yeah, it's more easier to even sew than to cut and get your accuracy right.
Mm,
So I do the most important thing
okay.
and just outsource little. But
Okay.
when the workload isn't much and all that,
Mm.
I do everything myself,
Of
hundred
course.
percent.
Okay. Well, that's
Yeah.
good. Well, if you look at, let me say, in the olden days, back in
Okay.
the days, people were known, especially guys,
Yeah.
guys were known for wearing fubu trousers and
Yeah.
all,
Sure.
And then right now it's all about people are all into skinny jeans.
Yeah.
Now, that's like past fashion trend
Okay.
with the present fashion trend.
Yeah.
So, how will you relate the past and the present fashion style? Do you feel we're going into
Evolving.
a better time, or is it
Yeah.
that we're actually going back to the dark ages?
Well, it depends on the perspective you want to view it from.
Okay,
Because there are people of this generation that likes to look old school. And
exactly,
there are old school people, funny enough, you see wanting to look very casual and all that. Like, let me
exactly.
give an instance. Like, I'll
Mm.
say this or Senator Gino Melai.
Okay,
Yeah, he wears a lot of caftanities and all that. But when he
okay,
wants to look
wow,
English, like he wants to wear the English band where he goes all out, way
okay.
more than
He
him. You
wears
see him
his
wearing
skinny
sneakers,
jeans.
skinny, very tight. You know, I'm wondering like,
Exactly.
oh wow, this is a distinguished senator. So yeah, there are no rules to that.
Okay,
Just do what makes you happy. But
of
in
course.
that, the most important thing I tell people is fitting.
Mm.
Fitting is a very important and underrated aspect of clothing that people do not pay attention to, and I really do not know why, but it's
Okay,
important to wear what fits.
of
Yeah,
course.
because someone could wear very expensive wear
Mm.
that doesn't fit. Someone could wear cheap, very cheap wear that fits, and whether that fits would look even more
Better,
expensive.
of
So
course.
fitting is important, and I guess that's what made that whole FUBU trend evolve. Like people got to realize that, oh wow, it mustn't be all that big FUBU to look good, and when it even look closer to your skin, it's when it looks better and all that. But it goes both ways. Like I said, there are probably very young people who will feel more comfortable
Mm.
wearing things that just feels
Mm.
free and all that. So
Of course.
it just boils down to actually what you like.
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
you
Well,
wear what you like basically. How it
okay.
fits.
Okay. Well, if you look at it actually in life, any
Yeah.
business that you want to do,
Mhm.
most times you start out, you might make some money,
Yeah.
and then maybe you stop making money,
Yeah.
or you might end up making more money than you were
Making
making
money.
before.
Yeah.
Now, in business, we believe if you want to succeed at anything,
Yeah.
in as much as I said you will spend 5,000 hours,
Yeah.
the benchmark to now, let me say, evaluate yourself on whether you've made it or not is
Mhm.
after you've spent about 5 years.
Yeah.
And sometimes you might spend that 5 years not making money. So in
Okay.
fashion, how does it start out? Is it that the day I start or the day I set out to be a fashion designer, I start to
Mhm.
make money, or does it take time before the money keep or let me say like start to roll in?
Okay. Yeah, that's a very important question. But let me even just correct a misconception of that 5,000 hours. Let's not
Okay.
discourage people
People,
that will
right?
calculate 5,000 hours could be like 6 months, could be like 1 year. No, it depends on your rate. Like, I made my first pair of trousers
Okay.
exactly a month plus. Like,
Mm,
yeah, a month and let's say a week or thereabout. That's when I
mm,
made that a child could wear or something, and
Mm.
that's way less than 5,000 hours.
Of course.
Like 5 times a week. I was going 5 times a week when I learned and all that.
Mm.
So in a week, let's say 24 hours in a
Exactly.
day, of which you can't use the 24 hours. So basically, what I'm trying to say is it could be way less than that. But 5,000 is the standard benchmark that at least, no matter
Mm.
how your assimilation level is,
Mm.
5,000 hours
At
doing
least you should be able
certain
to learn and
exactly.
become
So
good
that's
at
why if
what.
it's only 1,000, basically I learned well, below, way beyond that,
Mm.
below that 5,000 benchmark. You understand? So
Okay.
that's fine. So that being that, like you said, the issue of money now, well,
Mm.
it's that's where passion comes in.
Okay.
Because what drives me or what drives me when I started a lot was
Mm.
passion.
Exactly.
I wasn't earning at first. Like
Exactly.
when you start, in fact, no one you won't know whether you'd earn or not.
But
So
then you
it's all
just do
about
it for the
passion, yeah,
passion.
because you like it.
Mm.
I didn't actually just go into the fashion line because to make money, like, yeah, I
Mm.
want. Alhamdulillah, I thank God about it. I wasn't hungry and I'm still hungry, understand? So
Exactly.
I went with a mindset of I want to learn something new and see how
Of
I can
course.
impact the world with that.
Of course.
So that's a very good and perfect mindset because a lot of times when the money is not flowing, you don't like when the work is low, when they're not customers, I just sit and like smile and try to even learn something rather than worry that oh where are the customers are and things like that I believe bring good luck because a lot of
Mm.
times when I just feel like when I'm about to be free,
Mm.
a lot more work comes in and the work
Exactly.
continues and goes on and goes on. And I thank God till the very day I started earning till date,
Mm.
like I have been busy and I
Wow.
thank God for that.
Wow. That's
Like
good.
yeah.
That's
So
good.
the money is flowing in as the work is
That's
going
good.
on.
That's good.
I
And I
thank
wish
God
you
for
more
that.
success.
Thank you
Now,
very
talking
much.
about passion, actually, I think I should indulge our viewers that any kind of business you want to do out there, just like you rightly said, you should ensure that you're passionate about it. Because down the line, once you start, it might seem easy, but once you start and you
Yeah,
keep going, things will get very difficult.
sure.
Now, at that point when it's difficult, the only thing that will keep you going is passion. If you have passion for it, if you love what you do. So whatever you want to do out there, make sure that you look for something that you love to do and you do it. Okay, so Mr. Fahad, because of time, now we'll
Okay.
have to round up, but
Yeah.
we have a lot of viewers back home who will also want to go into the fashion industries.
Okay.
Maybe they want to end up becoming tailors and all. So if you want to give an advice to a newbie or to someone just starting out in the fashion industry, what advice will you give to them?
Okay. Well, I will speak from a very personal view right now. The first advice I would give is to have the personal conviction, like
Mm,
deep down.
mm,
Don't do it out of pressure, out of parental, whatever for now. Don't they just personally like, wow, I want to do this. I want to go into fashion.
mm,
I love fashion. I love how this dress looks. I want to know how to make it.
mm.
I even yeah, you could even go in for money. It's even better than going in due to pressure of
Okay.
force that I can't learn them because a lot of people are making money because it's yeah,
Exactly.
don't know that it doesn't need that because
Exactly.
in the job you will need a lot of patience,
Okay.
tolerance,
Mm.
yeah, and humility of course.
Of
Not
course.
just stay learning right now. Generally, to learn a handwork, you have to be humble.
Okay.
You have to humble and lower yourself to just
Mm.
understand that. And when you understand, whatever you go to do with it is now left to you. But to
Mm.
have that first understanding,
Of
you have
course.
to humble.
Mm. You
And
have to
that's,
humble
yeah,
yourself.
you understand. So
Mm.
there's a saying that goes like, when the student is ready, the master appears.
Of course.
So naturally, yeah, when you're ready deep down,
Mm.
you will learn it. It's not impossible. It's not. I won't like to even say it's difficult.
Mm.
It just takes your own times 5,000 hours,
5,000
and you're
hours. Yeah.
good. So
Exactly.
yeah, that's it, bro.
Exactly. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Fahad, for
Yeah,
coming on the show. It's been
you're
lovely
welcome,
having
bro.
you on.
It's a
Now,
pleasure.
just to address a misconception, the 5,000 hours doesn't necessarily mean 5,000 hours
Mm,
of doing that particular thing. It could be 5,000 hours inclusive of talking to a mentor, inclusive of
mm,
watching a movie that will get you inspired, inclusive of
word.
reading a book, inclusive of anything that involves or that revolves around that particular thing that you want to do. And don't forget, you're watching The Entrepreneur with IBM Bangis. Now, we've come to the end of this show. And if you want to take part in this on this show, don't forget you can contact us on our WhatsApp number, which has been displayed on the screen, or you can follow us on all our social media handles at ENTR underscore IBM Bangis. That's a short form for entrepreneur underscore IBM Bangis. Do have a lovely weekend. See you next weekend. Have a nice day.